Hello everyone, you're very welcome to episode 2 of the Irish Cultural Podcast, and today we'll be talking about a couple of interesting topics and upsetting topics also from the past week in Ireland. So one of the first things we'll cover is there's been some highlighted in the news about the Dail Bar. Now the Dail Bar is basically, if you don't know, it's a part of the Irish government. And there's actually a pub inside the government buildings. And on one of the articles on News Talk FM, there's actually a poll. Should alcohol be served in the Dail Bar? €1,440.80 was spent on alcoholic drinks on the night of the Protection of Life During Pregnancy Bill debate. Now, it really bears the question, have you got a bar in your office? Well, most people don't. And should you be allowed back into the Dail after having a drink? And there was also a poll on that. Should TDs be allowed back into the chambers after drinking in the Dail Bar? 4.85% said yes, and the rest said no. No, I didn't even know this happened. I didn't know that there was TDs drinking and going back into the Dail. I don't know if it's true, but it sounds a bit ridiculous. But alcohol mushes the brain, so how can anyone make any sort of informative and correct decisions that will affect the country's future and well-being? So I'm sure this will spark debate, but personally, Irish Cultural thinks that Dail Bar should be closed. It's not appropriate. And one of the next pieces of news was actually a new type of ATM skimming. Now, you've all probably seen the old ATM skimming where they'd actually put a reader over the card reader, so when you put your card in, it actually they can take the information off your magnetic strip. But they also need a camera they also need a camera to see your PIN. So usually when I'm using the ATM, I'll check two checks I'll make. I'll check the card reader to see if there's anything funny on it, and I'll have a quick look up underneath to see if I can see a camera. But this is a new type of thing. I haven't seen this before, and I have recently been checking the keypads now. Basically what's happening here is they're actually putting another keypad on top of the existing keypad. So it might be worth your while looking at the keypads now on the ATM, just giving the keypad a hold, maybe a little pull, just to see if it does pop off easily. Because it looks like from the picture here, this device could pop off easily. Just one of the other checks, because ATM skimming, they can basically take your money. You might get it back, you mightn't get it back, but the actual hassle of trying to go and get your money back, and say, for example, you need the money for your kids, you need to buy food for the week, that's all you have. A lot of people are struggling these days, so you really don't want to be caught out. So 3 simple checks now. It was 2 simple checks, so 3 simple checks at the ATM. Check the card reader, check for the camera up above, and also now you're going to have to check for this keypad here. But once you start doing it, it'll become, if you don't do it already, a lot of people do it, and I definitely do it, so just to make sure you don't get caught. And one of the other interesting things was there's actually a Cork tour bus on Dawson Street, which I thought was lost. Maybe it was a promotion, maybe it was not, but it was quite a sight to see a Cork tour bus in Dublin City. So I just had to put that one up there as well. And coming back to Gangland, Dublin, there was a hit foiled as 2 arrested with a handgun. Both these guys, criminals, had bulletproof vests, and one of them had, I think it said here, one of them had one of them threw a gun away, and then the other one, I believe, to have an imitation weapon. So it was good that this one was stopped, but this is not gonna this gangland stuff still goes on. It's a shame, really. We've all seen Love, Hate, and just giving us sort of some sort of insight into what goes on. It's not really a world you want to go near or get into. So it's like even watching some documentaries recently on the Crumlin and Drim the feud. Like all these young guys, they're all dead by 30. Like they're all looking at the quick buck. and they're all dead by 30. So it's awful. And another bit of news then. So after HMV closing its stores in all in Dublin, which was unfortunate because HMV is a nice little shop, not for local people, but for tourists as well. Like, a lot of people like to buy DVDs and CDs. Other people prefer to download, but there is still a amount of people there who do like to go into the shop. And also for games as well, like they do t-shirts as well. It's not just music and videos. And HMV store in Dublin's Henry Street has reopened, so if you're around that way, pop down. I believe the store on Grafton Street is still closed, which is another addition, so it's great for the city. And also the Seamus Heaney has died. His funeral took place this week. It's quite sad actually, and in memory of Seamus Heaney, I am going to read out one of his more famous poems, Midterm Break, and also gave us here at Irish Cultural some inspiration to compile our own poem, which I'll read out afterwards. It's obviously not as good as Seamus Heaney's poem, but everyone has to start somewhere. Okay, so this is a Midterm Break by Seamus Heaney. I sat all morning in the cottage sick bay, counting bells, kneeling classes to a close. At 2 o'clock our neighbours drove me home. In the porch I met my father crying. He had always taken funerals in his stride, and Big Jim Evans saying it was a hard blow. The baby cooed and laughed and rocked the pram. When I came in, I was embarrassed by all men standing up to shake my hand and tell me they were sorry for my trouble. Whispers informed strangers I was the eldest, away at school as my mother held my hand. In hers and coughed out angry tearless sighs. At 10 o'clock the ambulance arrived, with the corpse, stanched and bandaged by the nurses. Next morning I went up to the room. Snowdrops and candles soothed the bedside. I saw him for the first time in 6 weeks, paler now, wearing a poppy bruise on his left temple. He lay in the 4-foot box as his cot. No gaudy scars, the bumper knocked him clear. A 4-foot box, a foot for every year. It's a great little poem by Seamus Heaney. It's actually when his little brother got ran over by a car. So it's terrible the man's gone. He's a great Irish poet and he will always be remembered. Now I'm just going to read out the poem we wrote here at Irish Cultural. Just bases on the hardship that the older people in our society are experiencing because of the economic trolls. And all these new taxes as well. So here we go. An old cold winter by Irish Cultural. The autumn has risen and the bleakness has begun. It won't be too long before the winter has come. A lifetime of hard work and never missed a day. I always tried my best and always paid my way. I can hear the postman coming, a rattle at the door. The letterbox opens, an envelope hits the floor. This envelope looks different. I've not seen it before. My weak body trembles as I scoop it from the door. I open it up, and inside I see another new tax waiting for me. This money was saved throughout the year to heat my home when the cold came near. Now I need them most, and all they can say, you have to take the cut, there's no other way. I don't have much left to give, and I'm fighting every day to live. How much more can I take? It's only time before I break. Memories get me through the day, and at night when I sit and pray, I wish you could come and take me away, so all my troubles would go astray. Alright folks, that's everything for episode 2 of the podcast. Hope you enjoyed it. If you've any suggestions for anything we can do in the future, either podcasts or videos, etc., please do get in touch. Or if you have an interesting Irish-based product or anything, we can put it on our Twitter. We'll be more than happy. You can follow us on Twitter at Irish Cultural. Thanks everyone.